Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Cimnanya, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. Today, we'll be talking something very important, and it's about relationship issue. And a man was saying that if there is an issue between you and a man you are dating, and he says I need time to think. I need time to process it. That the reality is that the man does not actually need time to think because he already knows what he wants. And trying to tell you that he needs time to process it is just like him trying to lie to you or trying to while away time. When a man stops communicating, he probably just doesn't want to say it to you. He probably might have actually, or maybe talked about it with his family or his friends and all that, but refused to tell you because he probably does not want you to react and all that. He wants to control how you react to the information and all that. Number two, and the reality is that men really, they really do not need time to process anything because they already know it. And when a man start going incommunicado with a woman and all that, and some women or some men are trying to make excuses for the person, trying to say, oh, she's really, or he is really a good person. I don't know what, sometimes do not make excuses for anybody, because any man that wants to keep you or want to be with you will never go any day without talking to you. But once they start going incommunicado and you are making excuses for them, sorry, let's get into this.
If ever there is an issue between you and the man that you're dating, and he says, I need time to think, he does not need time to think. He knows exactly how he feels about whatever's going on between you. He just does not want to say it to you. He does not want to say it to your face, because he does not want to be bluntly honest about where he's at, because he doesn't want you to react. He wants to control how you're going to react to the information that he is processing. Because men will meet up with another man, one of their homeboys, and they will be able to articulate exactly what they are feeling in that moment to them. If they were to ask him what's going on, he would divulge that information to them, but he will not divulge it to you, the woman that he is with, the partner that he is with. He won't do it to you because he does not want you to react and make a decision based on his information. Back when I used to date women, there was one woman I was with where it was like three to 4 months into our relationship. She ends up telling me that she is unable to carry children. Now, prior to this, I told her my desires, my dreams of a family. I told her I wanted 8 children at the time. I wanted a big family. And it was not until 3 to 4 months in that she told me that she's unable to carry. And I remember the night that she told me, I said, okay, I understand that. Yeah, I mean, I can't do anything about that, right? But I started thinking about it more and more, about my dream of having a big family. And I talked to friends. This goes back to men that always know what they are thinking, but they don't want to say it to your face. So I talked to some friends about it, about how it made me feel. And I was trying to process with them, but I didn't want to say any of this to her face. So a couple days go by, and I end up running to her apartment late at night. It was like 9 p.m. I ran to her apartment before curfew. This is back in college. My college had curfews for men cannot be in the same apartment as women. And I knocked on the door, and she opened it. I was dead silent. She didn't notice. She just opened the door and said, hey, babe. And then she walked back to the kitchen because she was doing dishes. I did not say a word, and she didn't realize that I didn't say a word to her. She was just, oh, it's you, boyfriend. And she went back to doing the dishes. And she was talking. She was talking until she noticed that I wasn't responding to her. And so she looks away from the dishes. She looks at me because I'm by the dining room table in her apartment. And she says, what's wrong? Because I have never not responded to her for over a minute, 2 minutes, just silent. And I told her, I don't know how to process, what you told me about, not being able to have kids. I don't. I was stuttering. I couldn't make complete sentences, to a point where she grabs my hand and she says, is this a deal breaker? And I shook my head. I said, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I was trying to process. I was not finished processing yet. I'm sorry. Again, correction. I had processed it, but I didn't want to say it to her face. I did not want to say to her face, yes, this might be a deal breaker for me. I didn't want to say it because I didn't want her to react a certain type of way. I refused to let her know exactly what I knew, how I felt, and what I was thinking. But again, I told my friends explicitly how I was feeling in my back and forth, but I wouldn't tell her about my back and forth. And so she was like, okay, I told her I need time. And she said, okay. That is not fair. That is not fair. Just tell someone that you need time to process. You don't need time to process. You have already processed. You were in the process of processing. But you don't want to say it to them to where they might react differently. And that's not fair, because especially for women, that men will leave women on, not a heartstring, on a thread. Men will leave women on a thread because the woman does not know what's going on, how he's processing it, because he refuses to let her know about what his thought process is. They say, I need time. Men don't need time. Men are making, at that point in time, the reason that I said I needed time, because I was deciding for myself, what am I going to do? I was not considering her feelings. I was not considering how my thought process and my, damn, there's a word I'm trying to think of. I'll just say thought process, though my thought process was still going. And I wasn't thinking about how my decision would impact her. I was only thinking of myself. And men will say to women like, oh, you're being too pushy. How dare a man tell a woman that she's being pushy when she is trying to make sure that he will not emotionally scar her while he's trying to figure out what is he going to do? Is he going to break up with her? Is he going to decide that he's going to stay with her because he likes what he gets from her, but he'll end up doing stuff on the side, cheat on the side, or do something on the side, right? Or he's with her as a placeholder for whatever reason, right? Maybe he wants to stay with her because he hasn't a place to stay. Or again, he enjoys the benefits he gets from her, but he's not ready to break her off, so he's looking for a replacement. Men always know. A man telling you that he needs time to process is him wanting to control how you're going to react. Because he does not want to give you the right for you to process along while he is processing about what you're going to do when it comes to your emotions, because he has you hanging by a thread, by a what is it, thread string? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. But he has you hanging by a thread because you're wondering, oh, he needs time, he'll get back to me. Men are using that time to decide what they're going to do for themselves, how they're going to protect themselves, how they are going to self-prioritize. And, there's another word I'm trying to think of. Self-preservation. Men are working on their own self-preservation while leaving you out to dry. And then when men finally come to a conclusion, they've decided, they've processed it, right? But then for you had to wait until he finished processing, and now you got to process whatever his decision is, whatever his thought process is, if he's even being honest about it. I commented on a post that, I don't know if y'all know the audio that's like, where it's like, I started, it all started when I was young, and then it's women doing a skit where they like get really quiet. Either they have their man in the video, or it's just themselves pretending that there's a man in the video, where they're like, okay, yeah, let me hear you. And I commented saying, why do y'all entertain non-communicative, emotionally immature men? And some woman did a video reply to my comment. She said that, like when I'm there, I'm for my man. And when I know that he does not share himself all the way, I'm still going to be there. I'm going to hold him down. Again, why do y'all entertain non-communicative, emotionally immature men? Why? How many more warnings, how many more stories do people have to hear of how men who do not communicate inevitably harm the women that they are with, harm the family that they are with? That men will self-prioritize themselves and not think about how them going in their own little bubble and figuring out how they're going to manage their emotions so they can move forward, how doing that and not including the women, the family that they have chose to make, causes harm. Because inevitably, the woman that men are with, the family that they have, They notice the change. They notice the distance, and it's affecting them. But a lot of men don't accept that. They don't admit that, and then act accordingly of saying, how can they minimize that they're trying to process what is happening, what they're going through, so they don't cause emotional damage to the people that love them, that they have decided, they have chosen to involve themselves with. Stop defending non-communicative men. Men can always communicate, it's just they refuse to. They refuse to communicate to you because they want to control how you're going to react, and they want to control the investment that you have in the relationship with them. They want to control their access to you versus allowing you to also process and decide for yourself what you're going to do. And that is not fair. Men can always communicate, it's just they refuse to. They refuse to communicate to you.
Never make excuses for a man that is not communicating with you via text, phone call, FaceTime. If there is a lapse in time, he's deliberately avoiding you. And in some cases, he's being intentional about it to emotionally abuse you and punish you, which is called stonewalling. See, men have no problem venting to their homeboys or their mama or sister or female relatives. They vent to everybody else. They communicate to everybody else. But when it comes to the woman that they're sleeping with, no. Which is why they deliberately give mixed signals to avoid having harsh conversations. The what are we? What are we? Are we boyfriend and girlfriend? Are we situationship? They deliberately confuse you so they can avoid having that conversation. They don't want to have it because, number one, there's a fear of if you find out the truth, and the truth is he don't really want you like that. He likes sleeping with you, but he doesn't want to commit to you. If you find out the truth and he verbally says that to you, I don't want a relationship, he fears that you'll cut off the sex. Okay, he wants the benefits, he wants to continue to have sex, he just doesn't want to commit to you. So he avoids having that conversation because he fears the answer you will give him if he's straightforward with you. Men know how to communicate. If they're not communicating, it's usually intentional. Or if you've called him out on some shit he's done, any bad behavior, any disrespect, any inconsistency, you speak up for yourself and you say, hey, I don't appreciate that you did that. Hey, I don't like that you did that. If he's truly a master manipulator, a narcissist, he's going to be pissed off at the fact that you called him out for it. So therefore, he will use the silent treatment or stonewalling as a form of punishment, and he'll go deaf silent on you. And he's hoping that by going silent for several days or weeks, that you will bend and allow him to control you and the narrative. He does not want you questioning him or holding him accountable in the future. So he's using a silent treatment or stonewalling tactic to condition you to never ask him or hold him accountable ever again. He's deliberately not communicating with you as a means to get you to conform to his authority, okay? He wants to dominate the relationship. He doesn't want you questioning him or calling him out for anything disrespectful or inconsistent. So using the silent treatment or choosing not to communicate with you deliberately is a form of emotional abuse. Men know how to communicate, ladies. Trust me, they do. If he's not communicating, he's doing it intentionally. Okay? Stop making excuses for these men. Men are very calculated. They know what they're doing. They know the difference between right and wrong. They're hoping that you're stupid enough to overlook it. They're hoping that you won't call them out for it. They're hoping that you'll look the other way when they do the stupid shit. They're hoping that your self-esteem is so low that you're terrified of losing them. You want to cling on to the relationship so you will allow any sort of bad treatment. Stop it. Not in 2024. If he's choosing not to communicate with you for any reason, get rid of him. Period. Walk away. A man that's crazy about you, I promise you, he's not going to allow one day to go by without talking to you. He's got to hear your voice. Stop making excuses for men that don't communicate.
Trust me, she did not lie. The reality is that sometimes some women are stuck or some men are stuck, like, thinking that they are not going to get better person or they don't deserve better and all that. And once somebody tampers with your self esteem, you are, I mean, your confidence, you are really on a long thing, right? Like they said, sometimes it is hard to walk away, but trust me, I think that if you love yourself enough, because first of all, it starts by you loving yourself, right? If you love yourself a lot, you are not going to allow people mistreat you, right? And sometimes I feel like how you treat yourself also depends on how people treat you, right? So you should be on your guard. You should be like, always all out. When a man loves you, like she said, and like the man said too, when a man loves you, you are definitely gonna feel it. You will know from his communication. He definitely do not want to go a day, 2 days, 3 days without calling you. I have seen people in relationships 1 month, 2 months, they don't talk, and then probably the man calls and says, "So if I don't call you, you don't call me," or "I miss you." Start saying some nasty things and all that. I mean, we should know better how they operate. Those are not good men. They do not make work for you. When you see a man that loves you, a man that wants something really serious, a man that want to keep you, trust me, that communication is something you do not like. Every man or every woman loves. They love communication because that is the best way to, to get to know someone you are talking to and the rest of it. And when they start saying, "I want to process it," there is nothing they are processing. They are probably trying to hide something from you, because before they say, "I am going to process it," they already know what they want, but I start dancing around. So if you are in that way in period, maybe you are that person that they said, "I am still processing it. I'm trying to think over it. I'm trying to get to understand and to know how to go about this." Number one is that they probably they know so good what they want. They know this is not what they want, but just keep dancing around, trying to waste your time and the rest of it. So when they say they are gonna process it, that thing has already been processed. They're just trying to make you feel miserable and all that. And I think as a man, as a woman, you should put yourself first, because I feel like when you put yourself first, it isn't kind of hard for people. Like when people want to mistreat you, you definitely will know. But some people do not know when people are mistreating them, and then they start giving excuses. He is really a nice guy, or she is really a good person, but sometimes that is excuse. You're trying to make excuse. Like seriously, when people, I keep saying this, when people show you whom they are, trust me, stop making excuses for them, because you are the one holding yourself down. Not until you understand and free yourself from that, whatever that is holding you. The earlier, the better for you. So that is all I got to say. Absolutely, they made great points. That guy raised a great point. The woman also backed it up with her own point, and I absolutely enjoyed it. Why not? Let me know what you all think in the comment section. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye for now.